Dear participants, in our MOOC we'll touch upon many aspects of analyzing and designing a complete industrial biotechnology process. These aspects are all integrated in a case study which is on the production of 1,3-propanediol. This presentation introduces you to this versatile molecule, its applications and of course its biotechnological production. Now, as the name suggests, 1,3-propanediol, commonly abbreviated to PDO, contains 3 carbon atoms and has 2 terminal hydroxyl groups. In its pure form, shown on the left, it's a clear, colorless and odorless liquid which is biodegradable and also has a low toxicity. In the bottle on the right, you can see a polymer, which, as we'll see in a minute, is one of the main products that can be made using PDO. Now, PDO is seen as an important platform chemical, which implies that once it's made, it can be used in the further chemical synthesis of other molecules with a wide range of applications. Now, on this slide, only a selection of its many uses of this very versatile molecule are shown. However, in this presentation, we'll zoom in on the use of PDO as a building block for making polymers. Now, here a polymer of specific interest is PTT, which stands for polytrimethylene terephthalate. And PTT is a thermoplastic that can be, for example, spun into fibers and yarns, and therefore has extensive uses in the carpet and textile industry. If it can be produced at sufficiently low cost, PTT is also seen as a very promising alternative to the more commonly used PET. Now, both PET and PTT polymers contain terephthalic acid as a monomer. But the difference is that instead of PDO, cheaper ethylene glycol is used to link these monomers in PET. So although this does make PTT more expensive because the expensive BDO is inside, its different shape provides it with advantageous polymerization properties. And therefore a lot of research has focused on improving the synthesis process of PDO, this expensive ingredient. Shell has developed a low-cost synthesis route for PDO. However, this uses fossil-derived ethylene or ethylene oxide as starting material and requires several catalysts in several steps in order to make the final product. DuPont went for a bio-based approach, which was based on genetically modified organisms that use either glucose or glycerol, which is a byproduct from the biodiesel industry, as starting material. Here, the microorganisms act as a cell factory in which all the required chemical conversions are catalyzed by enzymes contained inside the cells. As a result, this bio-based route uses less energy and also has the potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now, although the route from substrate to PDO was shown as a simple single arrow in the previous slide, it's important to realize that integration of many process steps is required for the complete synthesis. For example, the PDO made by DuPont is for a large part derived from cornstarch, so this process starts with the harvesting of corn. Then, sugars for the corn plant first have to be released via an enzymatic pretreatment, and then the sugars that are released in this process are then fed in the bioreactor. And this is where the microorganisms, which were obtained by intensive metabolic engineering, perform the conversion of glucose to PDO. Finally, the product is purified from the chemically complex culture broth, which besides the sugar, also contains all of the other nutrients required by the engineered microorganisms to survive, to grow, and of course, to produce PDO as well. Now, this slide summarizes some of the drivers to develop PDO via industrial biotechnology instead of chemical synthesis or chemical catalysis. Because bio-PDO has the potential to be more economically favorable and, as mentioned, requires less energy and releases less greenhouse gases than its fossil-based counterpart. Furthermore, cheap and reliable availability of PDO would allow PTT to become a serious alternative to PET, where PTT has advantages because less energy is required for polymerization, but also recycling of PTT is easier because it does not contain the heavy metals that are required for the synthesis of PET. And finally, PTT has some properties which just make it a better polymer altogether for various uses. So theoretically, this could be a win-win-win situation where a better polymer is made in a more sustainable way and cheaper than fossil-based polymers. Now, I would like to leave you with an overview of the state of the global PDO market today and its outlook. Now, as you can see, the market size of PDO was $450 million in 2020, and PDO made via microbial fermentation already accounted for the majority of all of the PDO that was produced. Growing environmental awareness, an increasing demand for bio-based products, but also government incentives are expected to augment market growth, and therefore it's not surprising that global PDO production is expected to grow with 8% every year for the foreseeable future. Furthermore, also other large-scale industrial developments are expected to improve the economics of PDO made via fermentation. For example, the increased global use of biodiesel in the transportation sector has resulted in the increased availability of cheap glycerol. Glycerol, which as mentioned is a main byproduct of biodiesel production, can therefore act as a cheap and interesting alternative to corn-derived sugar for PDO fermentation. So as you can see, not only is there a technological push towards production of PDO via fermentation, but also there's an economic and societal pull to make more of this PDO. So on that note, I leave you with the assignment, which is linked to the propane diol case, and I very much look forward to seeing you back next time.